Yes, I. Hello, Heather. Yes, I. Gonna be doing a little meditation, a little iration, meditation. Yes, I. Blessings. JD on the inside. Everybody blessed tonight. We're doing a little breathing exercises to help us center. You know? Oh, Heather, blessed love. I hear you're moving back to Tampa. You coming back this side? Must link up, you know? Seeing so much people jumped in here so quickly. We have some more to come. But we can start. We can start talking about what meditation is. And I know you'll get there. You are Empress, warrior, goddess, you know, divine. You know, if you put your mind to anything, you'll get it. I know you. Amazing woman. Amazing mother. What is meditation? Meditation is silencing the mind to allow the soul to speak. And it's not a simple thing to do. It takes a lot of practice, and we as individuals are never taught how to meditate. We are never taught how to breathe. First of all, breathing is key. Everything in our life must start with us taking a breath. A lot of people breathe through their mouths. Welcome, you know, again, this meditation. Starting up there, a little explanations, you know. The cycle of breath that comes in through the nostrils, through the nasal passage into your lungs, and then cycles through out of the mouth is something that everyone should practice. We usually are taught to breathe through our mouths, and there's a very big difference with mouth breathing and nasal breathing, or nostril breathing, or nose breathing, whatever you want to call it. See, when one breathes, it's to get the air inside of their shoulders, inside of their chest, inside of their stomach, inside of their diaphragm. A diaphragm on everybody is like imagine a rubber band or a balloon tube surrounding your body. And to fill the lungs, to fill the air, to go down there and expand it, breathe out. It is a hard thing to do for many people. So we're going to make it very easy. Greetings, Linz. Doing a little breathing exercises here, starting this meditation. You know, many people have asked me to help guide them in meditation, so I'm just going to do this live and then post it up for whoever else wants it. And everybody can find this at lionofjudah.tv. We'll put it up there as well on YouTube. Go check it out. Gonna be vibes. And if you haven't checked out the latest music video, Land of TNT, go check it out. Really captured my beautiful islands of Trinidad and Tobago. Greetings. Drinking a little coconut water in a Johnny walking glass, you know. Don't drink Johnny anymore, but we still walking. So let's start. First off, I always start my meditations and I end my meditations with a prayer. And again, we're re-educating the whole of humanity of what is prayer. Prayer is not asking for anything. Prayer is giving thanks for everything. We tend to be ungrateful. Yes, Renzo, blessings. We tend to be ungrateful for all that we have in this life. And we all have a lot, because every single breath that we take, we have to give it back. And in giving back that breath, we know as human beings that it is already going to be given to us, that it is already there. Babies, when they come out of their mother's womb, don't know that they have to breathe. You know? So we have to retrain ourselves in everything that was taught to us. Everything that we think we know, we have to forget. Or take it, compartmentalize it, put it in a space in your mind, in your brain. Blessed love, Heather. Jah bless, you know. So as I stated, let's start with a prayer of giving thanks. And first of all, I like to give thanks to everyone who has joined. I like to give thanks, you know, for the breath that I get to take every morning when I open my eyes. I give thanks for the bed that I have, the house that I have, the clothes upon my back, the food on my table, the family that Jah has blessed me with, the real, true friends and loyal, honest people that surround me. I give thanks for that. I give thanks for the for the giving of thanks. There's not much more thanks you can give. If I do ever ask for anything, it's always wisdom and discernment. Therefore, I can always find the truth when I'm being lied to. Jah, please give me the eyes to see when I'm being lied to. Because nobody likes to be lied to. And in these days, we find that there are a lot of liars that are lying to all of us. And sometimes those liars are in the mirror. Because we end up lying to ourselves sometimes. We end up believing the ego rather than the soul, which speaks truth. So in my journey thus far, teaching myself how to meditate, the first thing I did, I took a marker. It was red, but I have a blue one right there. And what I did was drew a circle, just like that. Just a dot, filled up. And I looked at that dot for 1 minute. Without breaking eye contact, without thinking about anything else, I did my best to look at that dot. And when I closed my eyes after staring at that red dot, be it a blue dot in this, we're using it, you know, examples. It helped me to visualize a red dot between my third eye. When I take my eyes, when I close my eyes are looking up here in a comfortable position. And I'm focusing on that red dot, because if you stare at a red dot for long enough, it's a bright color, yellow, whatever it may be. You close your eyes, you'll see it. Yes, I fire your blessings, doing a little meditation guidance now, you know. So focusing on that red dot and breathing is a discipline that must be learned and taught to by the self. No one can teach anyone else this, and no one can do this for anybody else. It is holding ourselves accountable and responsible for our own breathing and our own thoughts and our own actions. In looking at this dot, I realized the first time where meditation was new to me, it was almost impossible to focus on that dot, because a highway of thoughts just shut it out the way. It was gone. So it took a little more practice to use 2 minutes, 3 minutes, focusing on that red dot on a piece of paper, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Always that cycle, always in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, as we get more advanced, as time will progress, you know, there are different things that you can do. You can close one nose, breathe out. There's so many different ways to do meditation and breathing techniques to strengthen your internal lungs and your stomach and your vital organs that we do not tell what to do. It already knows what to do because of programming by the brain. The body is self-sustaining. With or without us, it's going to work. It just needs us to give it food and water, sunlight, and love. So, in focusing on a red dot, close your eyes, focus them to the middle of your temple, and attempt to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and see how long you can focus on that dot. And if your thoughts are already running wild, then it shows that you're not in control of your mind. It is 100% fact that your mind is in control of you. We have to remember that the brain named itself the brain. And what our body is just an oversized, overgrown sperm. The soul that Jah gives us, that when I speak of Jah, it is Yahweh, the Most High, the Almighty God, Jah, gives us that hairline fracture of energy that starts our blessings, Renzo, that starts our heart to beat. Love you too, man. And it all goes back to self-love. You know, we cannot love another until we love ourselves unconditionally. No conditions to loving oneself. No expectations. Just unconditional love. So we are really nothing without the Most High. We have an ego, and the ego will only take us so far. No matter how high up that pyramid people may climb with their ego, it will always crumble. It will always crumble because the soul needs to be heard and accepted and spoken to, and there's so many different moving parts of our internal mind, so many moving parts of our internal soul, down to the fact of the inner child that was once us. We were once children. Therefore, that child and that childlike fantasy and imagination that was once given to us, of freedom, where the ego was not fully in control, where we were in control of our minds and we were learning and we were sponges absorbing everything around us. We have to heal that inner child because there was a lot of traumas that happened to us as children, and a trauma needs to be understood for what it is. For instance, I will never forget being so excited in Trinidad and Tobago, Alberto Street. You can see it on the Land of TNT video, where I was running into my uncle's pool, which was made out of a back of one of his trucks because he was a trucker. And they had this huge dog called Benji. And I wasn't thinking about Benji because I'm 3 years old, 4 years old, 2 years old, young. Running, and this huge dog jumps on top of me and throws me on the ground, and I never got to go into the pool. The experience of getting jumped on by the dog, scrape up my face, my elbows, my knees, blood everywhere, it didn't matter. That wasn't the trauma. The trauma was not going into the pool. Because as a child, you wanted something so bad, and when it was right there, almost ready to touch it. But something stopped you from going in that pool. Something stopped me from going in that pool for whatever reason. And that affected me for years. I'm talking years, and I did not know this until I became a competitive professional swimmer, where I used to train and be in a pool for 2-3 hours a day. And there was a lot of fears that were overcome, but the fear was overcome by the ego. The fear was never overcome by the soul. And therefore, this is what meditation does. So in breathing, I challenge everyone to have 10 simple breaths. But we're going to start with 5, because on the 5th breath, what we're going to do is hold it. And in holding our breath, we're going to hold it for 10 seconds. So we're going to take a very deep breath on that 5th attempt. And I'll guide and I'll let you know. And in holding that breath, you're going to fill everything, your whole body, from your head to your toe. You're going to fill all oxygen and the air that we breathe, because it's not only oxygen, just oxygen alone can kill us. It's all mixture of nitrogen, so many other hydrogen, so many other gases around in our atmosphere that really give us life. But science doesn't want to tell us all these things. We have to discover it on our own. Greetings, Dollar. All the love. Doing a little meditation practice here. So, we breathe all the way in to our head, our toes, and we feel the air filling up our blood cells, oxygenating our blood. And we simply breathe out. So let's do this. If everybody can close their eyes. And we're going to get into a space of just relaxation. If anybody else joins and I don't see, blessed love. So we're going to start with breathing in. And when we're breathing in, we're going to be breathing in all the good, clean air that is around us, that surrounds us, that we know is going to continue to give us life and give our organs life and everything else life. And we breathe out. See, my lungs have been trained for quite some time, and I continue to train them every day. It's not easy to go on stage and sing for hours, you know. So let's start. Let's first breathe. In and out. That's one. And when we're breathing, let's do two. We're thinking about only our breaths. In and out. It's three. Let's go for four. Now in this fifth breath, I want you to take it deep. And hold it. Don't let go. Let's start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now blow everything out. Blow everything out until you can't stop blowing out. And if you think that there's more inside of you, blow it all out. Blow all the negativity out. Blow all the pain out. Blow all the aggression out. Blow all the frustration and anxiety out. Blow it out until there's nothing else. And then again we go back into cycle. What I tend to do if I mess up or I miss, or my mind starts to go mad and oh, there's too much thoughts, there's too much happening because of the energies that may be surrounding me. Because remember, we're magnets and we're tuners. We tune in to the energy that surrounds us. So this is why meditation, I practice personally, you know, this is just I practice no matter where I am. I could go to a club, not that I choose to go there anymore, but if I am in a loud restaurant or a bar, for example, just because that's where I end up, I can sit and meditate and block every single noise out. And that comes with practice. I never knew that that was a possibility until I continued years into this. I'm only meditating for 6 years, and I am personally a fast learner. Therefore, there are those who will catch on very swiftly, and there are those who will not. So again, we continue to breathe, and all we focus on, no matter what our mind says, or remember, our mind is like a little puppy. And what happens to puppies after they run around? They get tired. So we have to allow the thoughts of the mind to get tired. So we're not automatically going to breathe in and silence our minds. It's not going to happen. That comes with time and practice. Just as a doctor takes 8 years in the United States of America to become a doctor, less time in England, I think 6 years, wherever it may be around the world. It is practice, discipline, dedication, determination, but most of all, doing. We must stop what we are told to be doing and do what we need to do. There is another quarantine coming. Trust that, because this is not. Yes, I, David, bless him, Zygon in the building, doing a little meditation session right now, you know, deep breathing. So all this is great practice when we are locked up in our homes, when we are out and about, when we are not feeling ourselves, because we all know ourselves, we know our soul. The issue is when the ego comes in and tells us to be something else, because the ego listens to everybody else. We can't listen to everybody else because everybody else doesn't know what's good for you as an individual. Everybody else knows what's good for themselves, and some people really don't know what's good for themselves. Some people only know what's good for themselves by controlling someone else. And that's where manipulation comes in, and that's where we are in this society of earth we live in, this, or humanity per se. There's good and there's bad. So we must be good. We must breathe every single time somebody, what I like to say, the serpent comes for me, or the demons surround. And it is a negative entity. It is something that wants us which is part of us as individuals, because it's in our DNA. It's been tampered with. You could read about this in the Sumerian tablets if you choose to go down that path. Greetings. So, again, more breathing. Always in through the nose and focus on your breath. Tell your mind in, out. Out. In these simple breaths, you tend to realize that the chatter and clutter of the mind starts to kind of melt away. What I tend to do personally is, if a thought crosses my mind, because it's like a television tuner, I'm tuning each station. I don't like this station. Oh, it's VH1, MTV. It's no good anymore. It's boring. There's no music. So what do? I put it into a bubble. And there's many bubbles. All my thoughts are in bubbles. And I am in the center of my reality where there is nothing else existing, as we all share realities here on earth. And what do I do? I pop it. Pop, pop, pop. I pop the bubbles. I pop the negative thoughts. I pop the negative memories. I pop things that do not serve a purpose for my future. So in that breathing, it's always about being in control of the mind, because if one is not in control of the mind will control you. We have to remember this, and I'm very repetitive, because repetition is the only way we remember. That's how we remembered our addition, our division, our subtraction, our multiplication tables. We had to memorize them. I didn't do a very good job of that. But anyway, it's okay. So then repetition. We have to remember that we are not our thoughts, but we are who we act upon. What thoughts we choose to act upon will dictate who we are, because by how other people perceive us. For instance, there are many times in the past where people may see me jump onto an Instagram live and I'm very heated. That is because the energies that come at me, and I literally pull out my sword. Where is it? Just so. Chop down serpents, because they're not welcome around me. I don't welcome negativity around me. If I'm surrounded by negativity, then I am in control of my reality, as you are in control of your reality. So it's always about breathing. In and out. The mind will get confused. The mind will get tired. And that is when the soul starts to take over. As time progresses, and all you have to do is process and practice this 5 to 15 minutes every day. When you're in the shower, I hope that you take a shower or a bath, at least wash your skin. Remember to always take that time where you're alone, unless you're showering with your intimate partner. Well, that's different. Yes, I breath to another meditation, guided meditation right now. Welcome. It's all about breathing in and out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It's about controlling our thoughts and allowing them to flow. Tune into them like a station, like a TV tuner, radio tuner. What frequency are we going to tune in? Are we going to listen to Slam 105? Or are we going to listen to 96 WeFM? What are we going to listen to? Are we going to listen to the highest frequency, which is the most high? Or are we going to listen to the lowest of low, which is the serpent? Lucifer, as they may say, fear. Fear exists within all of us. The courage that comes in to rise above that fear comes from the Most High. That strength comes from within. It doesn't come from externally. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how much muscle you have. It doesn't matter how much weights you can lift, how much truck you can lift up and bus you can push. What matters is the strength of the internal soul. Yes, I versatile. Blessed love King Rastafari lives and reigns. Doing a little meditation here for the iron. So it's all about the breathing and controlling the mind so the mind does not control us. Many people believe that there are those out there who go mad and go crazy because they don't understand them, because they don't have the capability and education to understand where somebody else is coming from, because one perspective might be at this angle and another perspective might be at this angle. Remember, there are many different angles of life, and we must always put ourselves in everybody else's shoes if we seek to overstand. It's easy to understand somebody, but it is a lot harder to overstand them, to walk in their shoes, to say, what is it that is making that individual act in this manner? And it simply boils down to the fact that they're not in control of their mind. So if one is not in control of their mind, again, it goes back to their mind is in control of them. The question that must be answered is, who is controlling that mind? And as we can see, this has been a great psychological experiment here on earth, as none of the stories are adding up. You know, there are children right now in New York and California getting blisters on their toes. COVID-19 doesn't do that, but we're not going to go there. We're going to continue to talk about meditation and silencing the serpents. Because beneath my feet is where the serpent will stay. It's not allowed to come and play. Many people believe that they can play with the devil, play with Satan, play with Lucifer, whatever you want to call a negative entity, the opposition of the Most High. Sleep with the Jezebel spirit and have the Jezebel within them. That lust, you know. Easy does it, blessings, meditation time. So, it's all about eradicating that Jezebel, eradicating the mind control by being in control. And the only way to do that is breathe it all out. Roar them down. We must always breathe. When we are surrounded by the enemy, we must not act. We must breathe. Observe. Find out what are the options, because we have all the knowledge stored within the energy memory of our DNA. DNA passed down from our great ancestors who have lived upon this earth way before you were even a thought, but you were known by the Most High. So again, giving that faith to the Most High, the only way to have that conversation when the mind may be over here and the heart may be thinking over here, we must get into alignment where that flow can happen. And in that flow is where one connects to themselves, to oneself, to the individual self, the inner child that we spoke about earlier, healing, understanding what trauma is, understanding that it's not as traumatic as some people may have had. Other people have had very traumatic experiences, molestation and pedophilia. And these are things that we're here to banish on earth. This is why I do what I do. This is why I've taken a stance. This is why I've given myself up to the Most High Jah. This is why I continue to walk as Jesus Christus and Emperor Haile Selassie I did. As a wise man with discernment, because that's all I beg and ask Jah for. I don't ask for anything else. If I do ask, it is shown to me immediately, because I give myself up to Him every day. Him, her, whatever you want to call the Most High. At the end of the day, it's not a man and it's not a woman. Ye are all gods, but that does not make us the Most High God. Yes, I, Jimmy, blessed love King. Real pan man then. Okay, man, big up yourself. So, breathing is key in everything that we do. And the meditation that must come within the self is the silencing of the mind, silencing of the thoughts. And always remember, as I've been speaking, I hope you've been breathing. Blessed love King, yes I. It's all about the vibes, and the vibes come from inside. And for everyone else to feel them vibes, we must be solid to the core foundation of oneself, to know thyself when presented with options of temptation, presented with options of slackness and options of immorality. Greetings, Mr. Farmer. Yes, I now jump out to the farm there myself. So, knowing thyself is key. And how does one know thyself? Through breathing. Because it goes back to silencing the mind. Silencing the mind, remember, it's like a little puppy. Gonna get tired after a while. Allow the thoughts to tune in. So I like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. Oh, what's this thought? That's an interesting thought. Where did that thought come from? See, there are many thoughts inside of our mind that are not our own. This is where you get serial killers, rapists, murderers, pedophiles. There are repeating behaviors that they have either seen or, Jah forbid, had to experience as a youth when they were supposed to be protected by their elders. This is why they say it takes a village. This is why I'm creating the official Lion of Judah village, the house of Judah. Therefore, the 12 tribes of Israel can unite and come and be as one. But to get there, one must be solid. Mind, body, and soul. Prophet, priest, and king. Prophetess, priestess, queen. You know? It all depends on us. It all depends on the individual to be the change that they want to see. 6 years ago, I had an awakening. My first. Because I was doing everything right that I thought I was supposed to do. Living with the woman of my dreams, with her daughter who became my own, a 7-bedroom, 4,800 square foot home, driving a Benz, growing my herb, making my music. I didn't start to sing yet. I was transitioning from DJ, sound system, MC, to producer. Now I realize I've become an artist in the process without even knowing that I was capable of doing that. We're all capable of many things, and only in silencing our minds may we truly find our potential and discover our mission, our purpose. You see, many scientists out there who are just head stuck in the books looking down, 0s and 1s and X and Y and Z's, and very out there formulas that, just like Einstein said, he dreamt most of his up. Therefore, Jah blessed him with certain things and algorithms of how this earth works. And they manipulated it for bad. Greetings came on. So, we must discover our best version. And our best version is not going to be presented to us tomorrow or next month. It is a journey. And in that journey, it is the journey inwards. We must journey to the inside of our soul by silencing the mind, by simply breathing. And in time, the first thing you may start to feel is a little muscle. Something that you have never felt before. And that is your third eye, known as the third eye chakra. I'm not going to go into the Hindu names of this. We're not going into Hinduism. It is a complete difference. That's a whole nother life. Because I have the Bhagavad Gita right behind me there. Pull out that bad boy. It's a beautiful book. Greetings, Chris. Doing a little meditation, explanation, and aeration vibes there right now. Meditation. Now, when it comes to ganja and meditation, or mushrooms, psilocybins, or any mind-altering substances, I'm an advocate for ganja and shrooms on one condition. You are prepared for what you will see. You are mentally and physically and soulfully prepared to accept what you see, which is the truth. Yes, I Steve-O, VI on the inside, what less? Boom, bam, love you, bro. talking about meditation right now. So one must remember that if they're burning a little herb or ingesting a little ganja, cannabis, be it an indica for a deep meditation or a sativa for a creative meditation, we cannot, or one cannot become dependent on that extra additive to the natural form of breath. Because when one is not with it, one can't acquire it for whatever reason, Jah forbid, that the body becomes addicted to it. Dependent, not really addicted, I take that back, dependent on it. So we then have to break the dependency. That is a 21-day mission. Almighty sounds blessings. So in that 21-day mission of breaking a habit which has been formed upon the mind, every time one slips up, one must start over from the beginning. Now for the men and women out there who are celibate, or I know that you become a lot more powerful internally, because that is the seed of creation. That is what Jah has given us to create life and to take what we were speaking about earlier, that memory energy, that DNA, and pass it down onto ourself again, to try it again, because we didn't figure it out the first time, or second or third or fifth or 1000 and something. So this is where past lives come from. People have memories of another ancestor of their own, which is them, but it's not them because they didn't live in their life. But the memory and energy is there, therefore you can tune into it in your mind, because the mind is the tuner. So we must tune into ourselves, again silencing that little puppy. Getting tired, running around in circles, it's gonna get tired and fall asleep, and then you end up in a place of nothingness, a place or space. Imagine the Matrix, where Neo was in a room of white, and there's nothing around him, and whatever he asked for, he receives. I need artillery. All the weapons on earth are right there for his doing. I need to fly a helicopter. I know Kung Fu now. Those are allegories. The whole Matrix is based on the Abrahamic religions, the Trinity. They even have a character called Trinity. So we go into ourselves and get into a space. For instance, I was letting everybody know that I go into a space of nothingness, where I am in the center. Greetings, Danny. I grow into a space of nothing, where it's all black. You see, I used to have a fear of the dark as a child. So what did I start doing years ago? A long time ago, I started taking showers in pitch black darkness. I started locking myself in spaces where there was no light, where I knew I was safe, yet there was still an internal fear, and I realized it wasn't me as a man, but it was my inner child, which is still part of me, that still is holding on to that fear, so as to let go. It's going to be okay. You realize with your body language, many people are always holding themselves or gripping onto something, It's my salt rock lamp. It's excellent calming energy for those who don't know. It really does give you a good lighting, So we must always go within if we seek answers. When we are confused, we go back to that mind and heart being unbalanced. It's as simple as that. And everybody loves to say that I don't have time. Then what are you doing? Making money? The whole world has shut down. Money is part of a Babylonian system. Money was not always here. Money was not what earth was about. We had a trade system before money. We had gold before money. We had silver before money. We had copper. We had iron. We had ore. Money is man-made. Money is worthless. Money has no backing whatsoever. It is worthless. No matter how much you know about the financial system and the fiat currency, it is worthless. So when one puts their energy into that, I need money, I don't have time, my time is spent getting money. It's not really money that you're seeking. It's spending your time for somebody else. And somebody else is paying you for your time, but most of the time they don't pay you enough. You know, my prices change for everybody. I would tell somebody my time is $150 an hour. I'll tell somebody it's 300. Somebody I don't like, it's 600 an hour. I like everybody, but you know what I mean. There are people who give us bad energy. And those people who don't appreciate what we do. When we as individuals are very loyal. And they take that loyalty for granted and they misuse and they misconstrue and they manipulate. For those who have eyes shall see. And we all know when we're being lied to and manipulated. And again, nobody likes to be lied to. I despise it. I've been lied to enough in my life. You know, I have a handful of friends. I think, Heather, you may be the only one in this chat that knows one of my most... Actually, Steve-O knows as well. You know, my mentor. Somebody I love very dearly. Somebody that has helped me rebuild myself when everyone around me was found to be liars. And again, it's not their fault. I forgive everyone, as I forgive myself for lying as well, because I lied to myself. And I was shown that through psychology. Now, the meditation is a key component in going forward to find that best version of oneself, to eradicate the chatter in the mind where no medicine and pharmaceutical drug is needed. If you need a little assistance to get off of that, link me. Message me. I am a message away. You can get me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. The same name, Official Lion of Judah. You can go to officiallionofjudah.com. You can go to lionofjudah.tv. You can go to zygon.com. You can go anywhere and find me. You can go to Facebook, Keegan Galt, and find me. But I keep that one personal for those I really know and cherish. I'm always cleaning it up because there are a lot of people there. I have too many friends, and I know you've heard this before, Heather. I'm trying to get rid of friends. You need family. Loyal, honest men and women that have honor within themselves, that are not easily swayed. This is why I continue to fight for the 12 tribes of Israel to unite. Because they exist. We're all out there. The tribe of Judah, or Yahudah, the tribe of Benjamin. The only two tribes that stuck together and been fighting this war. The rest of the tribes are all intermingling and messing everything up because they're confused. This coconut water is amazing, fresh. Electrolytes. You don't need an IV, an $800 IV from a hospital for electrolytes. Saline water. It costs $800 US a bag. That's how much your insurance and the scam and the fraud that happens in this country. You could only guess what happens elsewhere, other than the free medical places. So, getting back to always silencing those thoughts. Yes, I sue you, blessings. Silencing the thoughts. Get into a position of where are you comfortable? Because it all depends on the sign that you are. You know, we have fire signs, we have earth signs, we have air signs, we have water signs. I am a water. I am the water. I am fire. I'm air. I am everything. Because I've eradicated that zodiac programming, which is Cancer and also some Leo as a Judah, you know. So, rising above what we are told, rising above what confinements are told to us. Chapter 30, yes, I have a reminder. Reminding ourselves that we know ourselves because we take the time to know ourselves. We take the time to look within, and there's a lot of bad in everybody because there's a dark side. We have been brought into a world of innocence, with innocence, protected by good parents. And those who were not capable of protecting is because they weren't broken enough, in all honesty. They didn't break themselves enough to find themselves, to rebuild themselves, going back to what I was stating, that solid core foundation. And that solid core foundation is something that cannot shift. It is when the earth and everyone around us is erratic that we are solid. Solid as a rock, as King Kalonji says. They just can't stop me now. My blessed love, Sizzla Kalonji. If you don't know who Sizzla Kalonji is, he's the president of Rastafari. A mentor of mine as well, and a brother in arms. Without him, I would not be who I am today. I would not have remembered who I am. Because Babylon made me forget. I will never forget. And this is the last time. Tomorrow is a very important day. That we will, well, not last time. This is a time for another 1,000 years that we'll be doing this war that is upon us, which is spiritual warfare. Therefore, if it is a mental and spiritual warfare, we must protect our minds, our bodies, and our souls. This is why I highly recommend oregano oil. Carvacrol is the ingredient that protects your cells from radiation poisoning. I just went for a walk with my mother, and I immediately got a headache. I put on my spectrometer, and there's a signal out there at 16,666. What frequency is that? Why is that being shot out in my neighborhood? That was never there before. I'm very in tune to frequencies because I've been doing this for quite some time. I'm also a musician. I'm in a studio and I hear things, and any musician could relate to this. Once your ear is tuned, it's tuned, and it continues. You continue to hear above the spectrum. Yes, I Jav, blessed love. Doing a little meditation, vibes and explanation, and breathing, you know, relaxing, silencing the chatter, speaking truth, preparing for what is to come. We have 2 years of darkness ahead of us. For those who don't want to believe that, that's on them. They could live in the illusion. But the illusion is crumbling because Babylon is falling. Babylon is an old word. It branches from mystery Babylon. And the definition is confusion. It is there to confuse us. Babylon is my enemy. Babylon is the invisible enemy. So, there are many invisible enemies, but Babylon is just one of them. So it all boils back down to the serpent, creation of the serpent. What did Lucifer say when he was cast down here onto earth? In that story, if you don't believe in those things. I will make my throne just like the Most High, and everybody will follow me. Because he's the master of trickery. But you can't trick those who have eyes to see. Remember, let thine eye be single. This is why when we close our eyes, we focus to where our third eye is supposed to be, which is branching from the pineal gland, which is in the center of our brain. And in that meditation of simply closing eyes and focusing here, it is a oneness of left and right. Remember, the entire left side of your body is controlled by the right side of your brain, and the right side of your body is controlled by the left side of your brain. Therefore, we must be in control of it in totality. This is why you see many people may have a different symmetrical face, and we can change the structure of our face through meditation, through programming our cells, because our cells, the trillions of them in our body, which how much millions, hundreds of millions die a day and replace, we tell it what to do. Instead of letting it do what it does on its own and then say, oh, I'm getting old now, I'm going to get ashy, I'm going to get gray and wrinkly. No, I don't accept that. I don't accept what I'm told. I question everything. So in my experiments, I talk to myself. I talk to my cells. I talk to my body. I talk to my feet. I rub my feet. I rub my head. I take care of my body, because it is the temple that Jah giveth. Jah so giveth, Jah can't take it away, shall take it away. So this is why I am very adamant on giving praises to the Most High, which is the creator of all. Because, we have I know one of my brethren who I was actually just referring to, funny enough, joins. He joins the chat, and he's a cancer survivor. There are many people who have been taken by cancer, and that cancer is not something that we're born with, but it is something that has been manipulated into our system and bodies and minds by mutating ourselves due to our food, due to our thoughts. So if our thoughts are not clean, because cleanliness is next to godliness, how could we expect to go forward in this life to be good parents, to be good teachers, to be good wizards, sorceresses and prophetesses, or whatever it may be that you want to be? It's all your choice. The reality of this earth is your own. It is not the government's own. If you go look up the Latin of government, I don't think you'll like what you find. Far less the Latin of Walmart. You won't like what you find. So we control our reality by our thoughts. Therefore, our thoughts must be clean. How do we cleanse our thoughts? By simply breathing. Now we have different energy systems within our body, all the way down to our feet. It's a beautiful book that came across my studies years ago called The Life and Science of Egypt. And it is the study of the stars and how the stars, the zodiac systems, correlate, and how Egypt, because everything that we know to this day comes from the ancient ways. It all comes from the ancient times. When they say ancient, it's ancient. And in those ancient times, the Egyptians, they knew these secrets. Deity gods, Ra, Isis, Horus, Fireball knew all of them. They're no longer welcome in this timeline because they have been perverted by man. And they themselves, as energies, consciousness, have succumbed to the perversion. Because they're not God. You had a headache today as well. And you got a nosebleed. So yes, now again, that's your energy body that you're protecting. You have to protect the physical body. Oregano oil, cannabis oil, not CBD, THC. Understand the difference. CBD does a certain amount of things, but THC is the real healer. That's why they don't want to give it to you. There's many other oils out there. Thyme, but again, the key ingredient in the oregano is the carvacrol, which builds like a shield or a force field around our cells. Protects us. I just put a drop in my water or a drop in my food every day. It's very strong. It's very strong. Burns your lips sometimes. Mix it up good. But again, it's a necessity in these days because Earth is shifting and a new world order has been here. For those who don't know that, I've been studying this for a long time. And NWO is real. But we are not part of that because we decide to be sovereign. Because Jah has given us sovereign rights as our birthright. And what they attempt to do is create a birth certificate in your name and take your rights away. That's how they print their money. All the money on earth is printed because of each birth certificate. Because there's a corporation created in your name. And you can actually cash in on that. But things have to transpire before that can really take place. Because they will bankrupt the entire system of earth. They just don't have enough currency. It's all zeros and ones, guys. It's all fake. It's all an illusion. The American dream, it's all an illusion. It's all people that left a very horrific and dark medieval world of tyranny. That they wanted freedom, but they came over here and they killed for their freedom. They stole the land from the Africans and the indigenous people who were here way before. And look where we are now in 2020. Look where we are now. Tomorrow marks a day of 26,000 cycles coming back into, it's a cycle. It goes like this, the Fibonacci spiral. Comes back in, always comes back in. The exact the exact number is not 26,000, it's 26,000, I think 300 something, whatever it is, it adds up to 3, 6, or 9. Every Hindu yuga, Kali Yuga, if you're familiar with the yugas, you'll understand time. The Hindus are amazing when it comes to time. The Buddhists are amazing when it comes to astrology, astronomy as well. They have a system that has been invented way before we were even born, way before America was a thought. These United States of America Incorporated. That is the business in which the President of the United States of America runs, because he's a CEO. He's not a king. Because all monarchies on earth were shut down and killed. People, all the royal bloodlines had to run away because they were attacked by the peasants, because they wanted equality. This is the truth of the matter. You can't have equality if you're not educating yourself equally. So if there lacks intelligence, therefore there lacks wisdom. Intelligence, is definition, would be taking what we have learned and applying it. People don't apply it. They rather apply their slackness, their lower chakra systems of survival modes and ego. Control. It's all about control. We all want to control each other. I don't seek to control anyone, because we are not animals in a zoo. I seek to control my mind, and that is it. And to control the mind, one must be in control of thyself. And it all goes back to the original beginning of this meditation, little piece that turned into a little truth speak. It's breathing. Focus on the breath. Catch yourself when you're out and about in the middle of the public and you see that you're breathing from the mouth, even when you're making love. If you're a man and you're making love to your woman, breathe through the nose. Try to get each other's breath in a rhythm. Slow it down. Tantric. What do you know about the Hieros Gamos? This is what creation is about. Slow. What is the rush? Where are you rushing to go? Into your grave? Or crematory? Are you going to be cremated? Are you going to burn your body? What is it that you seek for your future by living in the now? Because the past cannot be changed. The future does not exist. But the actions that one takes in the present will dictate what that future will be. For instance, you hear Rastaman always saying 10 steps ahead. Chronics has a song, 10 steps ahead of them. In the beginning, it's something I have been saying for a long time. People get very annoyed when I say it because I repeat myself. What does that mean, 10 steps ahead? It means that if you are here right now and you seek to be here, you see the perspective, you see this, we're all in perspective. You can't just get from here to here. You cannot. You can't time travel if you don't know how to time travel. So you must put in the work right now and have patience. Just as I stated before, a doctor in this United States of America Incorporated takes 8 years to become a doctor. Sometimes longer. In England, 6 years. Medicine is not hard. Healthcare is not hard. Learning the human body is not hard because we all have the same body. We're all born as equals. It is the experience that we have within our journey that changes. I have 26 seconds remaining. So I will end it with this. Remember to always breathe. Hold your breath for 10 seconds and breathe it all out, and repeat that cycle every 5 breaths. Blessed love to all, and thank you for tuning in. God bless. I love you. Rastafari lives and reigns.